Hello. Goodbye, Hanku. And welcome to my, I don't know how many videos like this I've done, but it's a question of the week video. And this week, the question was, what do you think is your most controversial opinion on any anime? So I feel like recently, not just recently, but recently again, and very often, I seem to have very controversial opinions. Or I don't know if it's controversial, but more like unpopular opinions. So maybe it would have been better if I used the word unpopular. If anyone wants to add unpopular opinions in the chat now here or in the thread preferably, you can do so. Now I'm gonna read through all of it. Or at least I'm going to be reading through everything that won't spoil me. So if it's about a show that I haven't watched, I'm not going to read that. But your finger, just have it on the mute button, because what if I'm going to read through all the shows that I've watched, and if you haven't watched the show, I don't want to spoil you, okay? And I will say if I agree or disagree with the controversial / unpopular opinions, and at the end I will give one of my recent unpopular opinions. Okay. Are we good? Dark Shadow says, yeah, I'm not sure if mine were actually controversial, but unpopular is fine as well. My reply won't spoil you, by the way. We have watched the same season. Okay, so let us start with a message from Sotos, and it's about Code Geass. Or Geass? Yes. Please mute me. I'm not going to say every time, please mute me. So once you hear the anime name, I'll give it like a few seconds. So just make sure you mute. Every time I stop talking about the show and move on to the next question, I will take off this hat, okay? Okay. I don't have a smaller hat. Wait, I do. Okay. This is my spoiler hat. My controversial opinion on Code Geass would, which is why I omitted it, would what? The most boring anime I've ever seen. Bad MC and super boring robots. I prefer Neon Genesis Evangelion 100 times better. I almost killed myself and dropped it in season 1. Wow, that is crazy. That is a great start to a awesome video that I think will be very, like, I hope that, I wanted to say this before we started, but I guess I'm going to say it now. So I'm not talking about Code Geass now, I will get to it, but I wanted to say, if an opinion triggers you, please try and ignore it. You are welcome to share a counter argument, but remember that these are unpopular opinions for a reason. These are based on people's feelings. So don't get triggered. I do it myself. If I feel like I can't respond to this person without being rude to them because it's like it annoys me. Your answer annoys me, and that's fine. But then ignore them. Like the other day, someone was like being really annoying, and I just ignored them. I acted like they weren't there. Okay? So if you can't respond, you're welcome to share a different opinion, but don't make it personal. Don't insult people. Don't be like you're dumb or you're clearly not understanding, and like just say, I feel differently. This is how I feel. Okay? Cool. Now, Code Geass. So, Soto said it's a boring anime, which personally, I have an unpopular opinion about Code Geass, but it's not this opinion. So, I found it amazing at first. It reminded me a lot about Attack on Titan, and you guys know how much I love Attack on Titan. And I also have a lot of unpopular opinions there. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't call them unpopular. I would actually call my opinions feel like, maybe polarizing is the right word, because I do get a lot of hate for my opinions, but I get just as much support. It's really 50-50. So, but anyway, so Code Geass reminded me a lot about Attack on Titan in terms of the themes, so I definitely didn't find it boring. But the reason I didn't like the MC. And although I wanted to keep watching it despite not liking the MC, it's just that people get too triggered and they feel like they have the correct opinion, and if I don't feel the same, then they, instead of just sharing their different opinion, they are, you know, they make it kind of personal. They call me names and ignorance and yada yada. And I was like, I don't have time for this. So I haven't actually gone back to watch season 2, because I like how frustrated the MC makes me feel. I think that when a story can evoke strong emotions from you, it's a very good thing, and that is why this is a very exciting show to me, because it does have these very strong themes and stuff, and it made me really angry at times, which is good, because it means I get really into the show. But yeah, the fans they took it personally, and I was just like, you know what, I'm out. I have honestly started, and it's not a good thing. I don't see this as a good thing, but because I do watch a lot of shonen, and shonen have huge fandoms, and it's really difficult to navigate fandoms that are very big, because these are people that have watched the shows for like a long time, years, and they have very strong opinions. Some of these people have tattoos of these characters. Not a lot of them, but some of them. And when I don't like a character, they take it so personally, and it's so difficult to, like, I'm very involved with communities. Oh, I'm not talking about Code Geass anymore. I'm very involved with communities, and, you know, getting really into the nitty-gritty conversations. And I know that, you know, we will feel very different about things, because even in real life, you're never going to agree with someone about everything. Anyway, so I'm already watching Naruto Shippuden, One Piece. There's another one that people had quite strong opinions on, and I feel like I can only deal with so many fandoms hating me at once. So that's why these days I've been quick to kind of like drop a show if I feel like, you know, I don't have time for another fandom to hate me. I like Lelouch, so I'll start calling you names too. Kyle. Nox says, I think shonens that make people feel smart are the ones with the worst fandoms. Karolash says, and this is back to Geass, arguably I'd say Code Geass is the only enjoyable personally when you watch both seasons. I enjoyed the first season. I just didn't enjoy the fandom. So I definitely want to watch the second season, and I'd like to react to it. But what I think I want to do is I want to react to everything and then post my reactions at once instead of weekly. Because now you get people that they argue with you based on where they are in the show. Like, they finished it. They know what happens. I don't know what happens. So it's really frustrating to argue with people that they act smarter than you because they've seen more than you, and then they end up spoiling stuff. But anyway, Netflix style reactions, it's just frustrating, because that would mean I'm recording every week and you're not getting anything. It would feel weird. Wait, let me just that's the first one, and we're already 8 minutes into the video. Next up, we have Naruto. Mordor says, Kayla, mine is safe to read. So if you haven't watched Naruto, it seems safe, but I'm just gonna add my spoiler hat. Naruto opinion from Modru. The villains are very mediocre, and I find most of their designs pretty boring. Villains in Naruto. I would say, and I'm going to talk about Naruto villains that I've seen, so I'm going to keep my hat on. Wow, Soto says, Code Geass is actually the only anime I dropped ever. Naruto. Which villains have we even had? Most of the time the villain becomes a friend, so the antagonist becomes a friend. So it's difficult to remember who was a villain, because most of them have become friends. And right now I don't remember them as antagonists. I guess Orochimaru. That's the first one, because Soto's posted him right there. Zabuza was He had a cool design, but that was quite a short arc. So I understand why you say, and I agree that the villains in Naruto is not as memorable as some other villains that I've come across. Sasori, Hidan, and Kakuzu were great villains. I would say they do pale in comparison to villains like One Piece and some others that I've seen, but I wouldn't agree that their design is boring. I like their designs, but this is, as I've said, personal opinions. You're allowed to feel that way. Katie isn't that far. Oh, thanks there, assimilator. Okay, next up. Thank you for sharing, by the way. I know you have another controversial or unpopular opinion on Naruto, but I think you purposely didn't mention that one since... Oh, they're cheap. Cool. I think you purposely didn't mention that one because I'm not that far, I guess. So... I had nightmares about Hidan's freaking ritual. Hidan. Who's Hidan? I don't even remember Hidan. I think that kind of... I get what you're saying. They kind of blend into the background sometimes after a while. The immortal guy that turns black. The religious... Oh, yes. Oh, yes. See, but to me, what was good about that whole arc was the story itself more than the villains. So I get where you're coming from, Modru. I'm gonna say, I totally get where you're coming from. Okay, next up, there's a Cowboy Bebop one, which I can't read. So if you guys want, you can go read that. What I can do is, I'm gonna click on it. So if you want to read it, is this big enough to read? Would it matter? Can I show it? I'm not going to read it myself. I'll just show it. Okay, so there you go. You see, the Akatsuki cloak is iconic because of the story and what the author did with the villains, but... because you link it to the story and the characters themselves. But in terms of design, it's not particularly... But I get what you're saying as well. I just feel like, what is a design? A design is like, his hair looks a certain way, his clothes look a certain way, it's unique or this or that. But all the character in Naruto's, they're kind of, it's more muted. Until we get to the guy with the white hair and the purple eyes, like, I don't like his design. But yeah, there's a difference to me between, like, an iconic, because of the story, this symbol has become iconic, but it's not necessarily design. I wouldn't say that it's design. I don't know. I guess me preferring Shippuden slightly to the OG Naruto might be a bit controversial. No, I don't think so. I think a lot of people like Shippuden more than OG. I think most people actually. Okay, next up, assimilators comments here. The first one is One Punch Man Season 1. So if you haven't watched One Punch Man, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do my best here with this freaking hat thing. One Punch Man Season 1, controversial / unpopular opinion. This series was sold to me as the best anime since One Piece, so I was expecting a masterful story and characterization, and what I found was just so empty and boring and cliche, and it doesn't matter to me that it's intentionally cliche. I cannot see it as much better than trash. That hurts, but I accept your opinion, and I kind of feel you when it comes to Season 2, because, well, not for the same reasons, but a lot of people also talk about season 2 like it's the best thing since sliced bread, and I just don't like season 2. But I love season 1. So, next one. Okay, no more One Punch Man discussion. Next one is A Silent Voice. Hat back on. Oof. A Silent Voice. I hate this show. I hate it for its execution. Too many characters are contemptible. What does contemptible mean? Like hateable? Like dislikable? It tries to make me sympathize with people I cannot sympathize with. I sympathize a bit with the main character because I have a family member who did things that were honestly worse as a kid. But he had help making things right with the people he wronged, and it was a long process which made me almost expect more of the MC, but more so expect more of the adults around him. His mother is probably the only character in the show I remotely like. The girl's mother I just can't stand, and the girl that was a bully and kind of starts to try being nice at the end, just no. For a show that promises redemption arcs, I felt it was very underdelivered and insufficient. I get you. I'm often like that, where people want me to feel like a character has been redeemed and to love a character, and then I'm just like, no. No. So I totally feel where you're coming from. I don't remember, like, I like the show for its visuals, and actually, I like the show. I don't remember thinking too deeply about it, to be honest. Cherry says, I cannot get behind that opinion. I don't think it's trying to make us sympathize with anyone. Rather, it shows how people are in real life. Yeah, I also never felt like, because I'm pretty, what do you call, heavy on stuff like that. Or I dislike when a show tries to make me sympathize with someone. Like, I get frustrated, and you will know because I talk about it. And the more I feel like a show is trying to force me to feel sorry for someone, the more you will hear about it. And I don't remember, but maybe it was because it was just a movie. So I watch movies differently than I watch long stories. It's like just, I don't know. I think a simulator is getting too many promises before watching something. Oh, like expectations. That is true. For me, a lot of the times, expectations can influence your experience of a show. Okay, next up. Done talking about A Silent Voice from me. I will read the Bleach comment next. Bleach. Oh, I get you, Ray. Maybe there could be like a second movie for that. Okay, Bleach. I liked the first arc of Bleach. There was... Ooh. Make sure, Modru, that you are muted me for Bleach. There was a tragedy and raw human emotion, but starting in Soul Society arc, it just abandoned that entire premise and all that heart and became a very meathead must get stronger for my friend's story with really nothing more to it. What's worse, they recycle Ichigo's character arc to the point where every arc plays out the same. Ichigo's badass, gets beat by some other badass, gets lectured by his sword about not having enough confidence. That gained confidence is the key to him unlocking his true strength and beating the big bad evil guy of the week. It seems jarring seeing an Ichigo in episode 200 that character-wise looks exactly like Ichigo in episode 50, that has completely regressed to a lesser state and has to overcome the exact same challenge for the 5th time. My list of good things to say about Bleach ends with the start of Soul Society arc, and after the Soul Society arc ends, it starts becoming a list of bad things. Very bad. Okay, so, for me, I have heard this complaint a lot, but I personally, this is, for me, one of my first shows, so it's very, nostalgic. I enjoy it for all the characters. For me, Ichigo is the main character, but he's not the one that I pay most attention to. Like, there's just so much more to me, to Bleach. Yes, it is a very badass gets beat by badass. There are a lot of... That's sad to hear, Emerald. I mean, right. What was I saying now? Oh, yeah. So I do get it is in ways it is a typical shonen, but for me there was just so much that entertained me, and once again it was one of my first anime, so I just love it so much, and I loved all these badass characters, and this to me has some of the best designs, best openings. There's just so much that I'm entertained by that I never even noticed. I can't say whether or not I think Ichigo has a lot of character development or not, because that's what most people complain about. I can't tell you because I didn't care. I was just so into all the other stuff happening. So that's me. Okay. I honestly don't know which of those is the most controversial at this point, says Assimilator. Once upon a time, I rated One Punch Man a 1 out of 10. So it was easy to go to that as the most controversial because for so many people, it's a 10 out of 10. I've since raised it to a 3 out of 10 because it was well executed and animated, but I still just absolutely don't like it. But as far as the takes themselves and my reasons for not liking them, I don't know. I would guess my ASV take is the most controversial. ASV? Oh, a silent voice. But I'm not really sure. Okay. Soto's replies. Damn, Assimilator starts a war on everything. This comment is about Erased, but it is not spoiler tagged and a mod didn't delete it, so I'm assuming it's safe. So I'm gonna put on my hat, but I'm gonna read it anyway, even though I have not seen Erased. Raf says, Rafs. What is Rafs? Honestly, my most controversial opinion is probably on the last part of Erased. I wouldn't say it was peak fiction, but me and my brother cried watching it, and considering how the anime deviates from the manga in that final portion, I'm very glad there's the live action drama that is more faithful and feels a bit more complete in many ways. In any case, I just don't understand the hate the ending got, and it's still a top show for me, though I might be biased since it was basically my gateway into seasonal anime watching. I have not watched Erased, but I have heard that people say Tokyo Revengers is basically Erased. So I feel like they might have similar themes. The One Punch Man take is like the most I ate meat but expected vegetables taste take. There is a big Death Note spoiler later in the thread that did not get deleted. By who? So I can avoid that one. Okay. Next one is from Thomir. It seems to be, the first one is a Hunter x Hunter take, but it's just, I'm going to put Hunter x Hunter fans. Mute me now. You might not even want to hear this. I'm going to hide my mouth so that you can't lip read, because I feel like this will offend so many of you. Thomir says, I dislike Hunter x Hunter. It's maybe not the most controversial, but the one I get the most hate for. Yeah. I don't even dislike Hunter x Hunter. I like Hunter x Hunter. I just don't like Hunter x Hunter enough for the fans, so. Okay, the next one is a One Piece comment. Also not spoiler tagged, but I'll put on my hat just in case. As long as there is no Takemichi, that is fine. Erased opening is by Asian Kung Fu Generation. I have not heard about them. Okay, here we go. One Piece comment from Thomir. I think One Piece is way too overhyped. It's okay/good at best. I'm solely judging from the anime until where Katie is more or less. But while the stories and characters are great, the storytelling, OST, some flat filler fight scenes, implementation of filler, and pacing are not that great or even bad in my opinion. I won't explain everything in full detail, but for OST, all the long-running anime have at least one or more epic or great OSTs to which I would listen outside of the anime, but not One Piece. Not talking about openings and endings. And the pacing in The Promised Neverland Season 2 is the only anime with worse pacing, in the opposite way, that I've seen or can think of. This makes that Naruto, Bleach, and Fairy Tail beats One Piece for me. I would give One Piece around 7.5 out of 10, while the others have 8s or more. That is a fair opinion. I am a huge fan of One Piece, but I can agree that for me, the reason why I love One Piece so much is because of the characters and because of the story. Yes, the openings and endings are great, but later they become so spoilery, I can't even watch them every time, and now I haven't built such a connection up with the openings as I have for some other openings like Fairy Tail and especially Bleach. And I agree, OST-wise, voice acting though is phenomenal, some of the best. But like OST, I can't remember many times where the OST stands out to me. Except in the beginning. Dun 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 dun. Yeah. So I totally get where you're coming from. But because for me the story and the characters are so important. To me, the story is like, besides the pacing, is an 11. The characters are an 11. The voice acting is an 11. That shit makes up for the other lower. So yeah, I get why people like it, but there are some things that just ruin it for me. I might want to read the manga later, since it's mainly animation problems, but at this point it's so long. I don't know. I would say go for it. Honestly, it's worth it. I'm reading the manga now and my progress is slow, but it is really worth it. Okay, and then there is a Naruto Shippuden post, but I should not read that one. So, I have watched all of One Piece 10 times, but I don't remember one OST. I hate how... Okay. Let's see here. This one is from Karolash. I think my most controversial opinion has to be about the Hunter x Hunter end. So the end of the anime. So now I have to put on my hat. Hunter x Hunter for... Woo! Whoop-de-doo is gifting 10 tier 1 subs to the community. And they have gifted a total of 15 to the channel. One gifted sub is going to La Hamhawk, Kaistral, Mina, Atom, Ether, Lasher, Alisson, Lucas, Kotori Ocean, and Cold Killer. Thank you so much, whoop-de-doo. It sounds fake though. Whoop-de-doo, but actually whoop-de-doo. Thank you so much for the gift subs. Can you guys do the berry emojis, the dollar sign, because it's like, wow. I know Konata is the best emoji, but please use the emojis that I paid for. Thank you. Okay, so Hunter x Hunter spoilers. Also, if you cannot take any criticism on Hunter x Hunter without taking it personally, please also mute me, okay? Okay, this is from Karolash. The whole power system with Nen felt convoluted from the get-go. I never liked Gon in particular, but was always a Killua fan, and didn't give a shit about anyone else, even Kurapika. So I'm gonna reply as I go and give my own, how do I feel about your feelings. For me, I liked Nen. It was a little bit slow, like they really introduced it, like, I didn't like its introduction all that much, but the power itself I really liked and still do. I'm also not a fan of Gon. I was in the beginning, but yeah, I'm also more of a Killua fan. And I really love Kurapika was my favorite. Okay. But that scene where Gon goes adult and wins the fight went past the limit of my patience for this show. Technically, I read the manga, so I didn't experience voice acting and OST, so you could say that I was missing some good stuff. In the end, Hunter x Hunter is still one of the few shows where I wanted to endure 300 chapters of the manga, but in the end, developed a dislike towards it. Okay, so you wanted to like it, and you kept reading because you wanted to like it, but then you developed a dislike. That is especially increased by the annoying community the show has gathered since the 2011 remake. Yep. I agree with you there. For me, I enjoyed it for the most part. It wasn't the best show in the world. My expectations were very high. There were better arcs, and there were worse arcs. It felt to me every time like the arcs weren't linked. Like I didn't feel like there was a clear link. It was just like, now I'm in the mood for this. Now I'm in the mood for this. Now I'm in the mood for this. I didn't really like the flow. But there were individually very good arcs, very good characters. But yeah, the fans make it unbearable to talk about the show, actually. So I also towards the end I had to take a break from it because I couldn't share an opinion without like 20 people attacking me, and I don't say attack me lightly, because words can't attack you, but damn, like there was one person, and it's just the easiest way to reference the kind of fans. Sorry to bring him up again, because that also offended him, the fact that I kept bringing him up, because, well, he did that. And then he kept being in streams, hearing that I bring him up, and being offended by it, because I never said his name, I just explained what happened. But anyway, because it was just that annoying. I liked a tweet where someone said, this character in Hunter x Hunter is the best. And I liked that tweet because I also really like that character. And then they tweeted me and were like arguing with me about how I can't feel that way because I haven't even finished the story and I don't know everything that blah, 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 blah. How can I don't know who it was now. And there was this whole back and forth where I'm like, dude, I liked a tweet. You stalked my likes. You chose to at me and tell me I'm not allowed to. So I remember this guy. Yeah, I think he talked to you about being offended that I brought him up. And yeah, it was just very difficult to get through that show. But I liked it. I didn't like all of it, and I also didn't like the adult thing. That was horrible. I hated that, but... Okay, moving on. This is a comment from Zero. It's not spoilery, so I will read it. Dragon Ball Super is actually not as bad as some people say. I did not know people think it was bad. I haven't watched it. How do you feel about Dragon Ball Super? Let me know in the comments. Cheyenne, not an anime spoiler. The Attack on Titan manga is ugly, even in the later years. There's at least 3 to 5 pairs of characters I struggle to distinguish between consistently. Mostly minor characters though. The action is muddy and the facial expressions take me out of the story. Interesting. I did read the first few chapters of the manga. I do remember thinking that it isn't the best. But once again, for me, the most important part is the story. So. Then there is big Attack on Titan manga spoilers. I can't click that. Not going to show it. Assimilator says, I dropped Dragon Ball 30 episodes into the original. No opinion on Super. Modru, I like Dragon Super more than most of DBZ. Tiago, I don't like Dragon Ball as a series. Tomir, I thought Dragon Ball Super is okay. It's a bit dragged out, but it's meh. Okay, so still from Cheyenne. All these things being said, Attack on Titan manga is a low 7 out of 10 for me, bearing the excellent story it has. The anime is also great and in general presents the material much better. Okay. Then there's Berserk manga spoilers and Berserk Attack on Titan both manga spoilers. Don't click if you haven't finished both. So please turn away from the screen. I do want to just quickly share these if anyone wants to read them. Wait, can you even read? Is the text too small? Wait, I'll just zoom in. So please close your... Oh, fuck, that's not going to work. Okay, I'll do this. Close your eyes. Look away. This is for Attack on Titan manga spoilers. If you want to read them. Okay, I'm not reading, but you can read. Pause and read. Okay. Now, this is Berserk. Berserk manga spoilers. This is a very fun way to do a video. Skip. Mute. Don't look. Berserk. Okay, there's Berserk spoilers. Don't look if you don't read Berserk. Pause and read. Okay. The next one is Berserk and Attack on Titan spoilers. Mute, skip. Don't look. Okay, there you go. Read it. Pause. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to another chat and go back here. And now I have to go back to where I was. Oof, there's a lot to go through, guys. I did not realize this. Okay. Emilia's lover. I like how Katie can read everything in that answer. Rank 3. Azazelop. Since Karo took my actual answer, I will do Mushoku instead. What is Mushoku? Is that the... Which one is Mushoku? Is it one that I might watch someday, or is that the one I'm never going to watch? Oh, Jobless Reincarnation. Oh, okay, I might watch that someday, so I won't read it. Okay, I'm going to then show you once again. If you want to read... If you want to read... read now, pause, but if you don't want to read, skip ahead or just look away. Okay, this is for Jobless Reincarnation. And moving on. So, obviously, pause if you want to read. Shit, if you're watching it live, you'll have to watch the playback if you want to read that stuff. Sorry. Can't pause for too long. Okay, Dragon Ball GT. I don't know if I'm ever going to watch this. So I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it because I don't think I'll ever watch this. But if I do, I'll probably forget. Okay, Dragon Ball GT. I actually love it. I consider it one of my favorite Dragon Ball arcs. And even more controversial, the first Dragon Ball GT arc is my favorite. I love seeing Goku as a kid again. I love Trunks being weak and stupid and not badass like Mirai Trunks. Future Trunks? I like Pan, and I like the annoying robots. I like the adventure vibes when they were going to different planets and the comedy. Okay. Ooh, this is an interesting one. What does bootleg mean? This is not spoilery. What is bootleg? The context is that DBGT gets a lot of hate from the community. I assumed so. Fake. Oh, cheap, like illegal copy. Okay. Hi, Pri. So, Bang Tuts says, Jujutsu Kaisen is just bootleg Hunter x Hunter. So, like cheap Hunter x Hunter. I would say knock off Hunter x Hunter, but like if you're going to share this opinion, because in terms of visuals, Jujutsu Kaisen looks more expensive than Hunter x Hunter, doesn't it? But I get that's not what they were saying, but so they're saying basically it's a copy. Okay. Naughty. Gojo is bootleg Kakashi. I've heard a lot of people say that. One person, I was commenting on another YouTube channel, and someone didn't like what I commented, so they went to my channel and looked for something to insult me about, and they tried to insult Gojo by calling him a bad Kakashi, and I was just like, yeah, I don't really care what you think. That wasn't an insult that you thought it was. Okay, wait, let me finish reading. Jujutsu Kaisen is a bootleg Hunter x Hunter, but then even Hunter x Hunter bootleg is still better than My Hero Academia. So what he's saying is, Bang Tots likes Hunter x Hunter more than Jujutsu Kaisen, and Jujutsu Kaisen more than My Hero Academia. Hi, Fairy. I have never heard Jujutsu Kaisen and Hunter x Hunter being compared in any way, shape, or form. And I've never heard Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero Academia being compared in any way, shape, or form. So I don't really understand this comment, but interesting. I have heard people compare Jujutsu Kaisen with Naruto. But I don't see any personally, no. Oh shit, I could have answered question of the week by giving my opinion on Gojo too. It is wildly similar, even more if you compare both manga. Interesting. For me, I have not noticed this. Let me put it that way. I can imagine that if you look, since they're both shonen, obviously there's going to be similarities. But for me, I did not at all... Like, there's a trio... They're, you know, monsters, dreams, fighting, becoming stronger. Like, yeah, they're shonen, so they're gonna be similar. But honestly, I don't feel... I can't compare them at all. They're so different. The world building is different. The characters are, to me, very different. Like, extremely different. Except... Oh, no, I was thinking about Kakashi and Gojo. They're the same, similar at least. But even Gojo has its own uniqueness. Like, Gojo still sometimes makes me wonder. I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy, man. Kakashi, I know. Gojo, I don't know. Naughty Femto. Jujutsu Kaisen definitely has less trash episodes compared to Hunter x Hunter. Well, Hunter x Hunter is longer. So, there definitely will be boringer episodes. But I'm not allowed to call it boring. I have not watched Yu Yu Hakusho, so I wouldn't say. All of the Jujutsu Kaisen girls have the same personality. But... girls in shonen are very difficult because it's not a... I never judge them too harshly, to be honest, because it's a shonen. It's written for boys. I think I do understand what you're saying. Jujutsu Kaisen girls are... It seems to be written to make sure you know these girls are very strong. And they're stronger than most of the boys some of the times. Like, these are strong girls. You better know that. Like, don't get offended, SJW people. You know, so I get that, but honestly, has never occurred to me. Has never occurred to me. Next one, Jinae, Fate comment. I'm gonna watch Fate, but this isn't spoiler tagged, so I'm gonna assume it's not spoilery, so I will read it. I do wish that there were more good females in shonen rather than having to be like, oh well, it's shonen. Oh well, it's shonen. I like a lot of shonen girls. I like Nami. I like Vivi. I like Robin. I like Nobara. I like Sakura, which people hate. I had my ups and downs with her, but I had preconceptions and I thought I was supposed to not like her. But then I actually ended up liking her. I like Hinata, even though we never see a lot of her. Except we did see some of her in the filler, which was really nice. I like... What other shonen have I watched? I like Ochako. And Mina from My Hero Academia. Yeah. Lucy, I didn't like Lucy at the beginning, but with time I started to like Lucy a lot. I like Juvia. Yeah, I like a lot of girls in shonen. I've never had the issue where I thought, oh, you're not developed enough for my taste, and I'm a girl, so. Okay, Fate from Jinae. If you're not going to read the visual novel, then start with the Studio Dean adaptation of the Fate route from 2006. The visual novel forces you to go through the routes in a specific order, so just do that with the... Is this an opinion, or is this telling me how to watch Fate? Oh, his opinion is that there's a correct watch order. Okay, let me try and read it again. If you're not going to read the visual novel, then start with the Studio Dean adaptation of the Fate route from 2006. The visual novel forces you to go through the routes in a specific order, so just do that with the anime adaptations. I don't know why everyone says to skip that and start with Zero or UBW, Unlimited Blade Works. Is it really all because Giguk said it's shit in that one joke video? The Fate route adaptation is fine. It's an older show. It doesn't have ridiculous ufotable visuals like the others, but it's a perfectly watchable show. You're missing the base of every other route by skipping it. Okay, I'm gonna read that much. So they're just watch it the way that they want it to be watched. Fate Zero is a prequel. Come on, guys. It's meant to be watched after you experience the story of Fate Stay Night. And Prichan replies, an actual controversial opinion. Bangtat says others just shit on other series, which I very much disagree with. I don't feel like anyone so far has shit on any series. I feel like people have been sharing their opinions on series, but no one has been shitting on series. Okay, next one is from Money Manti. It will be a Black Clover one. It's not spoiler tagged, so I'm going to... I think people just want to enjoy anime. You think Index has debates about watch order? Oh boy, the Fate debates. Oh boy. Money Manti. My most controversial opinion is that Black Clover is way better than My Hero Academia, from the wide cast of characters to the fights and the story. And if the anime for Black Clover was seasonal, like My Hero Academia was, it would be way more popular and have consistently great animation. The Black Bulls are a way better cast than Class 1A and 1B, and Noelle is the best female shonen protagonist that I have seen in a long time. So that is an opinion on Black Clover. I have not watched Black Clover, but I do plan to, because I like shouty characters and I heard the MC shouts a lot. So Tiago says, I personally don't like Black Clover. Okay. Will says, my correct controversial opinion is that all anime is trash. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. That's from Will. Fairy says, I hate Naruto. This one is from Cherry. It is I'm not sure if this is a controversial opinion, but I don't like Shield Hero. And then there's a slight spoiler. So mute me if you don't want a slight Shield Hero spoiler. The first few episodes were good, but after that, I felt like the only element that kept the story interesting was the hate on Multi. Damn, I haven't watched that in a long time. I cannot really remember. I remember liking it a lot. But thinking back, I do feel like the harem aspect annoyed me a little bit. Like, I didn't really care so much about cute moments. I wanted more story because I really enjoyed the story. Does that make sense? But I don't really remember. It's too long ago now. Okay. This one is from Ray. It says, Darling in the Franxx is better than the original Evangelion. And the rest is spoiler tagged, so I've watched both, so I'm gonna just hide. Okay, this is Darling in the Franxx and Evangelion spoilers. I think the characters in Darling in the Franxx are better than Evangelion. Asuka is annoying as fuck. Shinji is meh. They try to portray him as a deeply scarred character, but the show doesn't really focus on it. They just show it. For example, Shinji just shitting in a corner. You mean sitting? I would have liked it if Shinji has more internal monologue, just like how March comes in like a lion does it. The drama and the backstory of Hiro and Zero 2, to me, is just much better than any other scene in Evangelion for me. The original version. Okay, so I would say I totally get how you feel about Shinji. He is a frustrating character. But what I liked while watching is that the fans of Evangelion never got angry at me for feeling that way. I remember one person once kind of excusing it, but they didn't. That's fine. If they excuse it, that's fine. They didn't try and convince me to feel otherwise, which I liked, and no one got angry at me for having feelings. So that was nice. I was also annoyed by Asuka for a while, but then I remembered she's like 10. To me, I can't really compare them because Darling in the Franxx is like a love story to me, and Neon Genesis Evangelion is like something completely different. I personally don't think that one is better than the other, but also I can't really compare them. But if I had to choose a favorite, I would by far just choose the whole of Evangelion in its entirety. Darling in the Franxx is like a good romance, but there's not much more to it to me. And I loved it. I love that show. Rolf says, from what I hear, I would have guessed the Eva fans would have been on your ass. Well, no, not really. Maybe I just had some nice people around. And I mean, it's not like I post my reactions to YouTube, so it's not like a lot of people was watching. The bigger a fandom, the more chances of, assholes being there. And although Evangelion has a big fandom, I wasn't posting my reaction to a ginormous amount of people. Like, not on YouTube or anything, so. This is mostly because every time I bring up Darling in the Franxx, some Eva fans will say Eva is better. But that is just an opinion, obviously. That's their feeling. I think the only reason why people compare them is because, as far as I'm aware, Darling in the Franxx is like a child of Evangelion. Vert explained it to me, so it is linked, but very loosely. Had this bit muted because I haven't seen Ava, but Ray said he likes Darling in the Franxx more because of the doggy style controls, didn't he? Okay, here's another opinion from Ray, which is about Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, but it is not spoiler tagged, so I'm going to read it. Ray says, other one is, I think Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I will be watching at the end of the month, is overrated and is not a masterpiece. I do think FMAB is very solid, a very solid show from the start to finish, but to me it lacks the emotional highs that every show I call a masterpiece has, like One Piece and Assassination Classroom. Okay, that's interesting. I'm looking forward to watching it. Also kind of scared because I heard the fandom is this is the kind of fandom that when other shows get more rated, like higher rated than FMAB, the fans group together and downvote the other shows so that FMAB is still at number 1. So that shit has me scared as fuck to react to. I'm very scared. I already have unpopular opinions in general, so... And the thing is, why I'm scared is because I'm already watching Naruto. I'm watching One Piece. I'm going to be watching Attack on Titan in like January. Now mix all of, plus FMAB, 4 shows with fandoms that are... I don't know if I'll be able to handle the drama. Because there's going to be... My DMs are going to be full of a bunch of different people just being like, how dare you? I've never at least gotten a, when it comes to all these different fandoms, I have never gotten like death threats, although one Attack on Titan fan did say they hope I get raped. So I'm just hoping that we don't ever enter that territory again. As someone later says, I will honestly be surprised if you have as much drama from FMAB as you did with Hunter x Hunter. Okay, that's cool. That's my secret doctor. I always avoid drama. I bought a cup the other day that says no drama llama, but then when I got home and I opened the box, the cup was broken, so now I have to go see if they have another one. Yeah, that was pretty rough. That was back during season 2 or 3, I think. I don't remember which season it was, but it was pretty bad. Maybe season 2. Tiago, Hunter x Hunter. This is a Hunter x Hunter fans. If you don't be triggered, mute me. It's not a good comment here. If you don't want to hear this, don't listen. Tiago, Hunter x Hunter is not a masterpiece. I would prefer to watch Yu Yu Hakusho. Just that alone would trigger the fanbase into a riot. Never mind the other criticisms I have of it. I think One Piece is better than Bleach. Bleach is better than Naruto. I can see that... Oh, this is Naruto stuff? I can see Naruto stuff. I can see that the Naruto fanbase up in arms over this opinion as far as the big 3 at the time are concerned. Tokyo Revengers being an overall... Okay, so this is not spoilery. This is just saying... This is not trolling. This is Tiago. He does not troll. Okay, I'm going to read it all again because none of it's spoilery. Hunter x Hunter is not a masterpiece. I would prefer to watch Yu Yu Hakusho. I think One Piece is better than Bleach and Bleach is better than Naruto. I can see the Naruto fanbase up in arms over this opinion, as far as the big 3 at time are concerned. Then there's a Tokyo Revengers one comment. Can I read the Tokyo Revengers comment, Tiago, or does it spoil the last few episodes? Sal says, I like Naruto because Naughty Femme is saying Bleach over Naruto, it has to be a troll. Then Modu replies saying, I'm only 60 episodes into Bleach and I like it more than all of Naruto so far. Sal says, I like the Naruto characters more, but maybe Bleach story more. For me, I would say it's the opposite. I would say I like Bleach characters and OST and openings more, but there are certain arcs in Naruto that the story is better for me. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like comparing shonen. They're so different. All of it. Okay, so this is a Tokyo Revengers spoiler-ish, but if I haven't watched the last few episodes, but I can still read it, so I'm still putting it on there. Tokyo Revengers. I can acknowledge that there are great characters like Draken and Mikey, and the story really does have potential in certain places, but it doesn't make up two things I really hate in the show, which people praise. 1. Takemichi easily being one of the most passive and incompetent MCs I've ever seen, but people praise him for getting what he needs handed to him on a silver platter without putting any work into it. 2. The usage of time travel. To me, it is just so badly thought out and turned out to be exactly what I was concerned about when I looked at the summary. Badly done time travel can invalidate a story for me regardless of what sort of potential the story has or had. Yeah, kind of like is Deus Ex Machina the right word? Like, they just have time travel. And although I do understand, it does work for some stories. Like Pokemon. It's not explained why Pokemon exist, but Pokemon are part of the world. And that's fine. Not all stories need origins for things. If it's like the world building is good. But with Tokyo Revengers, I agree. It's like, as far as I've watched, I haven't seen the last 4 or 6 episodes. I still need to watch the last 6 episodes. But as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know, it's like we need time travel to tell this story, but there's no reason for it existing, and no one else has magic power. It's just magically this guy, and when for some reason, when he touches this guy's hand, and although I can hope that it gets explained in any way, like, at least freaking learn from the best stories, superhero stories. Like, I know he's not a superhero, but you need an origin story. You need a reason for people's powers. You can't just tell me they have powers when no one else has powers. Like, My Hero Academia doesn't have an explanation for a long time. There's hints that they will delve into an explanation, but everyone has powers. It's not just like, well, this is convenient for the story. So, yeah, I get where you're coming from there. And yeah, the Takemichi is... He takes Crybaby MC to the next level. Like, Crybaby MC is not a unique thing anymore. I know not all MCs can be super strong and what, but... It's not unique to just have a Crybaby MC and make him the most Crybaby MC. And, yeah, he gets everything handed to him. I totally agree with you there. I found it difficult to enjoy the other characters because of him, but I did. I was still, like, enjoying it. As long as I can bitch and moan a bit about his then I can enjoy the others. But then people are so protective over him, especially manga readers. And then you can't even enjoy the story because they're there constantly, like, defending him when... It's not like I'm misunderstanding anything. You feel differently, and that's fine. But they get, like, personally offended. Here's the punch in the gut. I get annoyed with Takemichi, and I will say so. And then they get annoyed with me, and they will say so. So now they're doing the same as me. They get annoyed, and they can't shut up about it. But I'm at least moaning about the fictional character and not bitching and moaning in the real person's face about their reactions. Like, if you don't like my reactions, don't watch my reactions. Takemichi is one character. I'm one reactor. You can go watch other reactors. Takemichi is one character, and then there's a bunch of other characters that I do want to watch the show for. And he's fake. I can bitch and moan at him. Not gonna hurt his feelings. Not gonna annoy him. He's gonna get growth. Okay, cool. When I see his growth, I will say. I have always, like, given props. When he fought that guy, still spoiler hat on, when he fought that guy and he was, like, biting him, and he didn't know how to fight yet, but so he went to the limit. He did what he could, even though he couldn't fight. I thought that was awesome, and I gave him props. But then the bitch doesn't learn how to fight, even though he needs to learn how to fight, and then someone tells me, why does he need to learn how to fight? So that he can protect his girlfriend from dying? Like he's trying to do? Maybe that will help? No, he doesn't need to learn how to fight. Okay. I'm done. So, yeah, it's a very frustrating show to me. But the other characters are so good, I'm definitely going to keep watching it. And the story is good. Despite, yes, the time travel is not great. Anyway. Tiago, thank you for commenting the comment that got me the most riled up. Okay. Booch. Since a lot of people have mentioned Hunter x Hunter, I won't do that controversial opinion. I will go with Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan. I don't find what is so amazing about that series. I think it's solid/good. There was a time in my life I stopped looking for new manga or an anime series from 2013 to 2016. In 2016, I wanted to get back into the anime life. People hyped up Attack on Titan, telling me it was Game of Thrones in anime form, which is my favorite franchise across any medium. I watched season 1 and thought, good, but nothing special. The words great, amazing, exceptional have never entered my mind once while watching the series. I would like to hear Booch's opinion on the end of Game of Thrones. I'm always curious when people are super Game of Thrones fans, how do they feel about the end? I have had series hyped up to me before and then they didn't live up to the expectations. Hunter x Hunter. Attack on Titan, though, did live up to the expectations, and I do think it is an amazing series. So I can't really comment on this because I love Attack on Titan for various reasons. And I'm not going to go into detail on my reasons because I have multiple videos that exhibit my reasons. Not just the reaction parts, but also review parts. So I just really do like it. I think the story is very well thought out. I think the characters are very realistic, considering the story that's set in. I like that it touches on very controversial topics, but the author doesn't force you to think any which way. He's not trying to make you think this or that. He's presenting things as they happen in the real world in, wow, that was weird. I just saw, like, I don't know what happened. But yeah, he doesn't try and make you think anyway. He just presents shit. And then you can feel however you want. Okay. Bang Tots replies about Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan early parts is just like Muv-Luv, alternative, while the authors say inspired by it, and later part is just G Gundam. Just change mecha to flesh mecha. I've never watched Muv-Luv or G Gundam. Reckless. This is from Reckless. Demon Slayer story is mid and as generic as they come and wouldn't be as popular without the amazing animation. I personally don't think it's any more generic than other shonen. They all kind of follow the similar pattern-ish. But yeah, I don't know if it would be as popular without the amazing animation. Like, we can't know what would the world look like with bad animation Demon Slayer. We can't know. But I do love the story. I love the characters. I think that it approaches a lot of themes in a different and unique way. I don't know any show that handles Demon Slayer. I don't know any show that handles the concept of justice in a better way for me. So yeah, I have to disagree, but I have heard that many people feel that way. Drakenshinado. This question was interesting to think about because for the most part I don't really have that many controversial opinions about anime. Though since I have not spent much time in the communities for certain anime, I may not be properly aware of what is considered controversial or not. In any case, here are the ones that came to mind. Good night, Vasilishk. So, first one is from Attack on Titan. I know the fans are quite divided on this, but I'm not sure how controversial of an opinion it is. However, this is probably the one opinion I would get the most hate for in the Attack on Titan community, so I decided to include it. I don't agree at all with Eren's plans and actions in Season 4, and I don't like him at all anymore. I was a bit on the fence about his character since the beginning, but he did make it into my favorites. However, soon into Season 4, after seeing his total disregard for innocent lives and the lives of his friends, I took him off my favorites, and he's one of my least favorite characters in the show right now. Obviously, you guys know how I feel about Attack on Titan and Eren's character, if you watched my Season 4 reactions. As a character, like how he's written, I would say he's a brilliantly written character. But yes, he also went from one of my favorite characters to one of my least favorite. But once again, brilliantly written because it's very realistic. I loved him from the start. I really liked his... I felt, once again, he had a strong sense of justice, but it wasn't really, I understood that wrong. And I like that I understood it wrong because it was so shocking to see it, what it truly was over time. And that's why I don't want people that have all this information in the story to like correct me on things, because I like being wrong. Because the story is there to like... Anyway, I, in the beginning, thought that Eren had this strong sense of justice, because I feel like I relate to that because I also get worked up and angry as he does. But then in the end, I saw that it was never really about justice. It was just anger, resentment, revenge. It was never about justice. And so, yeah, I definitely am very frustrated with him in Season 4. But I'm more so frustrated with, his fans. But considering what he promotes, I'm not surprised that his fans some of them act the way they act. So, let me just put it that way. Next one is Baron Omatsuri, the movie, the One Piece movie. This is just an okay movie, easily the worst out of the ones I have watched. While I like the premise and feel of the movie, for me the execution was not good, and the movie felt like an unrelated story that was forced to fit the One Piece world. I get that it's not canon, so things don't have to be super consistent, but I think that there is still a certain level that is required, which this movie did not achieve, in particular with the crew and their interactions. I think you've talked to me about this more or less. I like how I saw people saying, okay, that's about Attack on Titan, so I'll keep it related here. Yes, you've told me about this. I can't relate because I really love that movie. But thank you for sharing. Next one is Neon Genesis Evangelion. I love the series, but I strongly dislike Asuka. From the moment we first met her, I didn't like her, and every time she appeared on screen, I wanted to roll my eyes. I can understand why she is the way she is, and I will admit she has had some badass moments, but none of that does anything to make me like her more. Totally fine. Some people in the world, like, you're just not gonna click with them. You're just on a different vibe, on a different, like, I don't know. But that's the thing, you don't have to like everyone. That doesn't make them a bad person, doesn't make you a bad person. Vert says, it's okay to not like any Evangelion character. We talked about that earlier. Hello, Vert. Okay, next one. Code Geass. I can read this one. Is it season 1 related or also season 2? Vert says, most of them don't like themselves. My Ava fan friend told me I'm gonna like her after I see her backstory, but I didn't like her at all, even after I saw it. Yeah, that's what a lot of people do it with me. Wait until you see their backstory. How dare you judge them before you see their backstory? You're such a horrible person for judging people. Yeah, I'm a horrible person for judging fictional characters, and you're a wonderful person for getting offended and talking shit to a real person and calling them ignorant and whatnot because I didn't happen to like a fictional character. I'm the horrible person. Yes. I can read it. Okay, Code Geass. Controversial / unpopular opinion from Dark Shadow. I had heard a lot about Code Geass and how amazing it is, but in my opinion, it is just a good show at most. Granted, I only watched season 1, so maybe things improved in the later seasons. I think there's just one other season, right? But for me, the pacing was really bad, often making some big moments lose their impact. And there were a lot of conveniences included to progress the story, in particular at the end of the season with what happened to Yuffie. I usually like the intelligent kind of characters, regardless of whether they're good or bad. However, Lelouch, is one of the exceptions to that. I really dislike him. He is in it for himself and his revenge, despite what he might claim otherwise, and will use people as he needs to achieve his goals. Attack on Titan spoiler. Kind of like... Okay. Next up is a comment from... Thank you, Dark Shadow, for your comments. They were very interesting to read. Next one is Kirin Doji. Their comment is, Redo Healer is more trash than Mushoku Tensei, but people always talk about him and forget the show is literally a... Why? I said this word earlier, now it's suddenly so difficult to say it because it was spoiler tag, so I feel like... Okay, I'm just gonna trigger word. Redo of Healer is more trash than Mushoku Tensei. Why are these two being compared? Are they at all similar? Mushoku Tensei and Redo Healer. People always talk about him and forgetting the show is literally a rape thing. I say this because they came out at the same time and Mushoku took more light on the topics that make taboo. Not that I don't know what did, but I had to say it. Not similar at all. I don't know how Redo Healer equals bad is a controversial opinion. I don't think that's their opinion. Their opinion is that Mushoku Tensei is also bad, but they came out at the same time, so everyone's focus was on Redo Healer. I think that's what they're saying. It's because Mushoku Tensei's MC starts off as a very flawed character. Oh. Next up, Bleach. This one is from Nux. I think the whole series is overrated, outside the Soul Society arc, but what I think is really irksome about the series is how many times a fight has to be resolved with a power-up. Due to the whole Bankai system, I know how almost every major fight is going to end between characters because it has to end with someone revealing some out-of-nowhere power-up. Ichigo is the biggest offender of this problem, since he has so many fights, he has to have so many random power-ups. I don't know any other series that uses as many Deus Ex Machinas as much as Bleach. After a while, it gets redundant. Okay, so once again, I'd like to repeat that Bleach was one of my first anime, so I'm very biased for it because it's a nostalgic thing for me. I don't remember that this ever bothered me any more than other shonen have random power-ups. At least he had like training arcs and stuff. I don't know, it always made sense to me. For me, every show has every boss, every antagonist, next antagonist is stronger than the last one. And so the MC is always going to have to get stronger and stronger. It's a very basic concept, but it is a very shonen-y concept. I could definitely say yes, there are probably shows that do it better, but I don't remember that it ever bothered me in Bleach personally. I also don't hear a lot of people overhyping Bleach, so I don't understand the concept of calling it overrated, but that's only because I only ever hear people shit on Bleach, so... So yeah, but I totally get what you're saying. It's definitely not a unpopular opinion, but only based on who I've talked to and what I've seen online. I think it's because it's part of the big three. Probably. This one is from Rich Donuts. Nothing is spoiler tagged, so I'll just read it. The first sentence doesn't make sense to me. I feel like a descriptive word is missing. Movies are the absolute way to experience anime. Absolute best, absolute worst, absolute... I'm assuming best. It must be a generations thing. When I first got into anime, like 2005, people always praised it and Naruto higher than One Piece. So it's an old scar from back in the day. Yeah, it's very difficult for me to talk about Bleach objectively or trying to be objective. No one can be completely objective, but yeah, because it was one of my first, so it's too difficult. I don't... Okay. Big three debates are cancer. Yeah, they're too different. Anyway, Rich Donut. Movies are the absolute best way to experience anime. The limited runtime... No, wait. Worst? Oh, no. Okay, best. It is best. The limited runtime of about 2 hours makes for a great story arc that does not drag on unnecessarily. The budget is usually higher, which means the animation looks consistently better than your average TV anime. You don't have to deal with cliffhangers. Unless it's a 3-part movie, I guess. Having a shorter amount of overall time means the soundtrack does not feel overused. Although the runtime is overall shorter, due to you sitting through it in one go and not being directed in a way to consume it in chunks of 25 minutes, you get to delve deeper into the plot. Sure, you may develop stronger bonds to fictional characters in long-running stuff, but in the end, it comes down to presentation, and I feel like movies do that better, since I am more likely to get bored by a character in a TV anime. Finishing a juggernaut of an equivalent of 2-hour episode feels more rewarding. All the movies that I've seen have been visually better than most anime that I've seen, definitely. But I can't imagine having to watch all shows like in movie format. So yeah, it doesn't sound viable to me. Sorry, I'm playing with the hat. But yeah, most of the movies that I've watched in terms of anime have been phenomenal. I almost always give movies 10 out of 10. So I do get where you're coming from. But I just don't see how that could work for like everything. Okay, this one is from Zero. Okay, wait, no, they're talking about the movie stuff. Elizabeth says, well, actually, this is interesting because it brings up Harry Potter, and I like talking about Harry Potter. So I'm going to read Zero's comment. There's a big difference to the type of stories you can tell in series versus movies. Think about your favorite book ever. It's very difficult, maybe even downright impossible to include everything from the book, even in a 3-hour movie or more. No matter how good the Harry Potter movies are, for example, it still suffered a lot when it comes to the information presented. There are books where if even some minor details are omitted, the story is suddenly not the same anymore. It's why some people will never be satisfied when their favorite books are made into movies. But that's true for both anime and, for both seasonal shows or episodes or movies. Arcs are good for movies. A whole story, I think a Harry Potter series would actually be amazing. But it would be so difficult to watch it now because Harry is Harry. I grew up with Daniel Radcliffe, so now I wouldn't be able to get used to a different Harry. And the story, it would be so long, it would take another freaking 10 years just to tell everything. And like, how long did Game of Thrones air for? 8 years? What? We could never have a better Snape. That is true. It would not work, but it would have been interesting to see it. Okay. This one is from Elizabeth. My unpopular opinion is that Demon Slayer bored me at first. I had dropped it in episode 9, but then at the time I started to watch your reactions, and since I had nothing else to see, I started to watch your timer reactions to Demon Slayer. I ended up liking the anime, and I was quite hyped with the ending, but after a while it never appealed to me again to watch the movie until now that the second season has started. The animation is amazing, but the story is what doesn't attract me very much. That's actually not an unpopular opinion. It's pretty 50-50. So, but I guess for super fans it might be controversial. But I've honestly never really seen someone take offense at someone sharing an opinion like this unless they shit on it. Like I have gotten annoyed with people on Twitter when they're not just saying, oh, I don't like it. They're saying they're calling it like trash and comparing it to this show and that show, and they're just being rude because they're jealous that the show is getting a lot of attention and stuff like that. I don't even talk to people like that because it's a waste of time. But yeah, it's not actually a unpopular opinion. This is that's an interesting GIF. This is a answer from Prichan. Forrest Gump, Jurassic Park, Lord of the Rings, Godfather, Jaws, all better than their books, and that is just off the top of my head. I didn't even know that some of those were books. Game of Thrones TV show misses a lot of the lore, but it was hard to read the books for me, so I kind of like the show better. Okay, this is from Prichan. I like sex in anime/manga. That is why I currently read more manga. I look up manga with 60% nudity tag because it is certain characters will have a lot of sex. Not really controversial, but most people have this aversion towards hentai or nudity, and because of that, they instantly think of series with nudity as of lower value. Personally, never heard anyone say that. Like, hentai and nudity is two different things, because hentai generally doesn't have stories, where I've never heard someone say, I don't like nudity in anime or manga. But okay. I think it's a very ignorant way of thinking. But I honestly have never heard someone say this. But okay. Vert. Question of the week. But once again, just because I've never heard someone say this doesn't mean that people aren't saying it. I'm just saying based on my experience. Simulator says, it's kind of an extension of the fan service complaint. I don't know. Fan service is like Fire Force, whereas nudity in adult shows, I feel like that's a different That's completely different than fan service, no? I hear that outside of anime too, some people are just prudes. I've never heard that. But once again, just because I haven't heard something doesn't mean it doesn't get said. But yeah, I also like mature content. Doesn't need to be sex, but I like... It's more relatable because people have sex. But I think with anime it's a bit different because in a Japanese culture, it's like, as far as we understand it from anime, it usually ends with freaking a kiss, you know? So not a lot of shows have like... It's not like in Western stuff where everything has sex. So people are maybe just not used to it, I guess. Yeah, truly mature series are also kind of more rare. I agree. Like Nana. Vert says, question of the... As long as there's a good story, I'm happy. I don't like hentai either because there's no story, but it's not because of nudity. I don't like nudity though in... I like nudity and the fan service in anime. I see those as two separate things. But in real life shows, I'm not a big fan of nudity. It makes me like, especially if I'm watching it with other people, like I've watched porn, but it's something that I do I did it when did I watch most porn? I was probably 22. And I didn't watch a lot. It was just, that was a time when I remember watching it. It's not something that I want to see with other people. It's weird and uncomfortable. Like I don't kiss Hanku in front of other people either. It's not about... It's intimacy for me. It's something intimate and the real, and yeah, I don't like it and just popping up in movies all over the place because I don't want to be sitting in a movie theater with 100 other people around, or with my parents while watching something, and then, you know... especially freaking penises, God. But also not boobs. I don't know. To me, it's very intimate, and that's something I want to... Well, as long as there's a... Obviously, if there's a... I'm not saying nudity shouldn't be allowed. I'm just saying... I don't want to... I want the... That's... All you want is a warning, right? So, for example, sex education has nudity, so I watch it by myself. Like, I'm not getting turned on, but it's like uncomfortable. Like, I know, don't watch this with my parents. Like, if my parents are here, I turn on The Office while we eat. You know what I'm saying? Will you ever show your cooch on OnlyFans? No. I have made that very clear. And you can consider that your first out of, like, we talked in the mod chat about you yesterday or the day before. First and last official strike. If you're gonna be disgusting, like I just told you, nudity to me is something very intimate, and that's how I feel about it, blah, blah, blah. And then you decide to ask that. I feel like that just shows that, I don't know, are you 12? And yeah. Mods, please, just if they do something like that again, just block. Emerald says, objection, hentai does have stories. Could you recommend me some? I've never seen a hentai with a good story, personally. Not that I remember, anyway. You should read The Metamorphosis. It is hentai with plot and has fundamentally philosophical core and includes valuable societal criticism. Interesting. I will try it one day. Why this gif of a girl humping a table? Kite does. Kite? Who is Kite? Okay, last one is from Vert. Bad anime / manga art, sometimes better than average or even decent art. Oh. I'll never forget how Higurashi or original One Punch Man / mob look. Their crappy art gives them their own honest charm that I appreciate much more than standard art that doesn't do anything to really stand out. That is very interesting. A very interesting take. I like that. And it's true. Legevin says, I need a story. If fan service means less storytelling and or no development over time, I don't like it. Fair enough. For me, I get where you're coming from. I love fan service, but I don't know, there's just something, and it's just a personal opinion. It's not like I'm saying nudity is wrong or anything. It's just like my taste as well. Nudity makes it, like, it's just that everyone has their line, right? My line is pretty far, but there's just on the and this is mostly in anime and manga. I don't all that much care because it's not real. But like in movies and stuff, when there's boobs popping up every so often, and the penis and the vagina and then like a butt, I'm like, okay, what? Why does that really need to be there? Okay, it's just making me uncomfortable. That's just me. There's no spoiler. I'm just wearing the hat now. That's the same with me. I want story more than anything else. If not story, then comedy. I love fan service. I just don't. In real, like, Sex Education, the first episode was difficult for me to get through. But the story and the characters made up for it, and I'm still gonna watch it. But I just know now that I don't watch it with anyone. Because it would be fucking uncomfortable. I don't like anime comedy. I love it on live action TV series though. Oh, I love anime comedy. Way more than live action. But I also love live action comedy. Yeah, as long as everything is 2D, I have no problem with it. Same. Do you have a favorite manga art style from the ones you've read? Let's take a look, see. And then we'll end the video. And I'm kind of in the mood. Oh no, we'll play Genshin after this, yeah. Okay, so out of the manga I've read, let's take a look here. Odon was very old school style. Nana was very unique. I'm just going through them and then I'll let you know. One Piece is probably the most like iconic, definitely, obviously. That was very pretty, very shoujo style. Pretty consistent, fun. Shoujo. No, I don't have a particular. I guess out of these, I would say Nana and One Piece. Those are the only two that stand out. The rest are all like either shonen-ish, good, very nice, or very shoujo, very nice. So those two. I haven't read a lot of unique show. I've seen unique styles like Attack on Titan, One Punch Man. I've seen one or two visuals from Berserk. Oh, but I've read other stuff. Wait. Dr. Stone, Fushigi Yugi. Dr. Stone has a really nice, unique style as well. Yeah. I would say One Piece and Nana. Vert says, Dorohedoro has the best style for me. I'm going back to join my friends for games. Bye, Assimilator. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy your games. Shoujo manga art style. I actually love shoujo art style. Like, that is what got me into anime. Like that big eyes, long luscious hair. Love me some. Kingdom? Hi Beast, thank you. And I don't know what is Kingdom. Is the game? Haven't read Nana yet, but Ayazawa's Paradise Kiss art is great. Yes, I have some of the visuals up on my wall. I won't put Nana up on my wall, even though I love it because it makes me too sad to look at. Okay, so that is it from me. The topic has been covered. I probably will end up posting this to YouTube because it's such a freaking long video and we talked about some pretty interesting stuff. And now this left a red mark on my forehead. Thanks, hat. Pretty sure I spent more time muted than unmuted. Sorry, Dark Shadow. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next question of the week. Bye.